being confident with the driver is essential to lower your scores. What we're going to do today is go back to basics and share with you how crucial setting up to the golf ball with the driver is to making sure you hit more fairways. If I go down the range, I will see so many amateur golfers standing and setting up to the ball incorrectly. And there's a lot of confusion between kind of driver swing and iron swing. So let's get to the chase and really talk about what is important. So with the driver, the first thing I'd start with really would be width of stance. We want the width of stance to be just wider than shoulder width, okay? So a couple of ways of doing this. If you let your arms just go to the side of your body and point your finger straight down, I want these fingers to be in the insides of your feet, meaning that your feet are just slightly wider than the width of your shoulders. Now this is very individual to your width of stance, but that's the kind of width I'd be looking for there. Now if I wanted to, what I could do is put some T-pegs down there or balls down there and just go, okay, this is the width of my stance. I can maintain that. In terms of foot flare, the left foot should be flared about 20-ish degrees, 25 degrees. The right one probably about 15 to 10, something like that. It's not an exact science, but this one more flared than that one to help us get through the golf ball. This one a little bit to help us rotate on the way back. Obviously, if you struggle with rotation on the way back, you could flare this more on the right foot or the trail foot, but that will then restrict how you move through the golf ball. So it's kind of getting that balance act of what you need to help you play best. Now I've got two rods down here on the ground here, and one is for kind of head position and one is for ball position. And these are very important. Before we get to that, let's just go through posture. So in terms of posture, if I go tall as I possibly can with the club parallel to the ground, bend and bow from the hips, get that club so the X on my club in this case is level with the center of the golf ball, then just flex the knees so they cover about one lace. And then what I want to do is just move my belly button, and my pelvis just a touch towards target. This helps set the right relationship between my hip levels, my spine angle, to make sure my body's slightly behind the golf ball. Now this line here, which is roughly in the center of my stance, that's where I want basically the head and the buttons on my top, or the microphone in today's case, to be if I can. I want my head to be in this position at address. In terms of the arms, left arm, what I feel is high. Club points to kind of the belt line of my shorts, and my right arm wants to feel like it travels from the inside onto this angle. Head as well, I'm quite happy with the driver to feel there's a little bit more right eye low, tilt behind the golf ball, and we're here. I also like most golfers to actually have the club head in the center with the driver. That encourages all these things in the set we want. If we get the club too close to the golf ball, what we see with a lot of golfers is they do this, they rotate their shoulders more to the ball. The shoulders then go more level, still might have some slight slant to them, but they'll certainly be too level. And it just basically encourages the things that we don't want to see with the driver swing. So I quite like the club in the center, right arm tucked in, got the right tilt. It feels a little bit more squatted than maybe the iron swing. We feel the neck posture comes up towards our collar. That's important to help rotation. If the neck sits forward or the neck sits up like this, those things both restrict rotation. So it's kind of the neck in like a double chin position, arm in this location. So this is just slightly visible, hopefully, from that back camera. Again, I struggle with this because my shoulders tend to be a bit rounded. Weight-wise, pressure-wise, we want 55% of the weight on this trail leg. Now that's essential for the setup. So from that set, we would want to be able to just go ahead and rip the ball. Handle, as well as the belt line, it wants to be kind of inside left groin. So if the club head's behind the ball like this, it'll be slightly ahead of the club head. If the ball position was where it's meant to be, the handle would probably be slightly behind the basically ball and club head pretty much in line with. Okay, so we'll go from here. Get comfortable. Head in that location, eyes in that location, slightly up, right eye low. This is the position I want to be in. Weight, pressure on the trail foot. And give it a bash. Now we're going to talk a bit about the swing in action. And again, keep it quite simple, quite basic, but to help you hit drivers better. There's probably two important things for me with the driver when it comes to the swing in action is we have to shift mass in the backswing, and we have to basically make sure the head is back when we hit the golf ball. Those are essentials. I quite like the set we have here with the rods down to help with those things still. So if I take my setup again to that golf ball, club in the center, feet flared, arm in. So in the backswing, I want to make sure I try and feel my shoulder gets behind this middle rod. That is shifting my mass. So shifting my mass across. And again, we do this with the iron the other day. If I put my right hand out here, can I reach my hand? Right hand really extended. Can I reach? In order to reach it, I have to shift and rotate. Otherwise, I can't reach the hand. That's no rotation, no shift. So we have to shift and rotate, get our shoulder behind this line. Then the idea in the downswing is basically this second rod, the one that's on the ball position line, that becomes my wall. So the idea is then in the downswing, I try and feel my shoulders, particularly my sternum and my head, never get this side of that wall. In fact, I want my head, our contact, to be pretty much on this middle line again. As I start my downswing, I want my head to be just pretty much on my knee line here, so just inside my trail foot. So it's the only club I actually want the head to move further back as we swing down in golf. And the reason for that is the ball's teed up. We're hitting up on the ball and the ball position's forward. So when the ball's forward and my center of mass is behind the ball, as I put pressure here and push back from the earth, it's going to push my head away from that golf ball. And we want that to get the right dynamics to hit the driver. And that's why we can get away with hitting a low lofted club off a tee with great penetration and great distance. We'll talk about the through swing a little bit more in detail in a second. Let's just try and feel again from that setup. Shift the mass behind the golf ball, stay behind the golf ball. You might feel a bit flat-footed when you're exaggerating this, and certainly for the first few shots, I did a little bit on that one. I still have to try and push the legs and hips through the ball to make sure I don't become too flat-footed, but I certainly want the upper body to feel behind the golf ball. In terms of the through swing, the most important thing really is the arc for me. So again, lead hand goes out, trail hand has to rotate to reach that. So with the driver, I want what I call lazy rotation. If we rotate early from the top, we will come over the top and hit steeply down on the golf ball, unless then we back up a lot at contact. So I want to feel like the rotation is lazy, so we feel like the body stops here. The arms release a little bit more, but they still work on that inward path, which is why this kind of drill here, feel the body's back, that the hand feel like it reaches through to release to get to it. The kind of shift is going to come from the lower half as opposed to the upper half. And again, in the finish, I want that kind of classic reverse C position with the driver. So we're looking really for, can we be a bit behind the ball during our backswing? Can we stay behind there? And the only thing we feel that goes forward towards target is that kind of lower half pushing and the upper half staying back. Let's go through one for the golf course without the stuff on the ground. So there's quite a bit of information there. Let's make this simple. So if I'm on the golf course, I'm going to put my club head in the position where I feel like I'm aimed correctly. Feet together, right foot away to shoulder width, left foot just a tiny bit. That gives me that slightly wider stance position. Feet flare. Club head then in the center, get comfortable with my bend. Right arm comes from this side, eye tilt. Now I'm going to feel that I just try and return my head to a further back position and try and feel like I just have a nice big shift. Try and feel in the back, in the finish, I feel like I'm just leaning back a little bit and just clip the ball off the tee without the tee really moving out the ground. If we try and have those simple habits of setting up correctly, shift the mass, stay behind the wall, whatever words you want to use, and feel like we're committed at the same time, so we're committed very much with the legs and arms, we will drive the ball better